Greetings and salutations, everyone. We are CritFail, and this is the second episode in our How to Make a Character series that we are doing. And this time we are choosing one of our favourite games, which has come out, which is Carbon Grey. This is from the Deluxe Box Set, and it is a really interesting game of war and mysticism, and war is hell and scary stuff is lurking in the shadows. And it's got a bit of something for everyone.
Yep.
And it's written by Andrew E C Gaska, who has won several awards. And he's done Carbon Grey, he's done Alien, he's done some Choose Your Own Adventures, he's done Planet of the Apes books, he's done Space 1999 books. He's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is a great game. I was very impressed to have played it. I'm not the GM, but it's been a really cool game. So I
It's
am Ghost,
also
and I am joined by Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily. Carbon Grey is also based on a graphic novel, so if you want to learn a lot more about the setting before playing, I highly recommend reading it. We all did, and it definitely helped us out with understanding what was
Yes,
going on.
and it's pulling from the old West End Games D6 system for any
Yes.
of the old boys and girls out there that remember Star Wars back in the day. Comes from
Mm-hmm.
there. Very simple system that works very well, and the book is gorgeous. Everything in this box set is gorgeous. The art
Mm-hmm.
comes from the graphic novel, as Emily mentioned, and it really raises the look and quality feeling of this product.
So,
I recommend you buy it.
yes,
We like it.
we do. We like it a lot.
This is a form fillable sheet. We took the actual sheet and I form filled it.
Yes.
So it's, if you're going, wow, this looks a bit messy, that's
that's
on
that's
me.
that's us. That's not yeah.
That's not magnetic press play.
No,
Uh,
that's
this is
us.
me making the boxes so that we can use it for this video. So that's just a bit of a statement there.
And just so you know, Carbon Grey is based on a graphic novel, which we do highly recommend reading if you want to get primed with the setting. We all read it. It's amazing. I mean, the art is beautiful, and it definitely helped us understand the game a lot more before just jumping right into it.
Yes, absolutely. There's a lot of moving parts to Carbon Grey, and definitely having an idea of what it was about through the graphic novel helped. This is from the deluxe box set, which is absolutely beautiful. Comes with the book, it comes with maps, it comes with hard cardboard uh, tactical maps, counters, miniatures, dice. There's so much in that
It's
box.
got it
It's
all.
really good value. Yeah, it's if I recommend you buy it because I like it.
Yep. So, when you start making a character in Carbon Grey, the first thing you're going to want to do is pick a character template. So, there are going to be a lot of different templates you can choose from. Anything from a soldier fighting in the trenches, a noble, you can have grease monkeys, like a child
Yep,
that fixes mechanical things. You can
yep.
have practically anything you can imagine, there's probably a template you are going to like. So I really recommend reading through all the templates before settling on one. It's going to give you a sense of kind of what the character would be like, both in terms of their story and in terms of the mechanics of playing that character. Once you have selected your character template, you can start filling in some things on the sheet right from that. So I'm going to be going with a Darman Adept. And the first things you will see on the template, first you're going to have the background, which will give you sort of an idea of what your character would be like, what their life might have been like, how they might feel about certain things. It might give you some ideas about how they might feel about some of the other characters in your game. It is then going to give you a personality and a quote. Now, I'm not going to type them all out, but I'll show you where they go. So for Darman Adept, we've got you have a youthful curiosity tempered with a wisdom beyond one of your young years. You carry yourself with courtesy and humility. So let me summarize that. Here is where you would put your personality, and then each character comes with a quote as well. So mine is, "Will alone is enough to change the course of the world. Oh, look at that sparkling light. That needs to be examined." So
What flavor are they?
the shiny lights.
No, the gumdrops.
Oh, lime. I think we went with lime.
Yeah.
So that is where your quote would go. You're also going to get a memento, which is a unique item that your character archetype gets, and that is going to have some effects that come along with it as well. So for the Dharman Adept archetype, I get Tech Spec Night Vision Goggles. And what those do is they are going to add a +1 on all perception and divine rolls. I would recommend making a note of that, whether in the memento section or somewhere else, just because it's something you are going to want to remember. You also are going to get some equipment that comes with your archetype. So for me, I'm going to start adding that here, and I get adept robes, which are a form of heavy clothing. And I also get my starting money. Now, some people are going to have more starting equipment. As an adept, you don't start out with a whole lot. And possibly the most important thing you are going to get with your archetype is we're going to want to fill in our attributes here. So my dex is going to be 2d +1. For perception, I have got 3d knowledge, another 3d strength, only 1d +2. I'm not the strongest. For mechanics, we have got 2d, and for willpower, 3d. Now, this is something that's only going to apply to certain characters. I do also get to add some into the continuity flux skills here. Now, for a lot of characters, you're not going to be adding anything there, but I'm adding 1d in each of those. Okay, so that is the first step. Make sure you pay attention to everything that comes along with the character archetype. Fill all of that in, and that is your first step done. I believe some start with only some of them. In our party, we have an aspiring occultist, and I believe he got 2 of them, but not all 3 at the start, or something like that. So yeah, it's not something all characters get, but if you have them, you're going to want to make sure that you fill them in, because they will become
I
very
have none.
important later. Yes, I'm sorry, you don't have any. All right. Now, step 2, you're going to want to pick your character name, and you can fill out a couple of the other things up here too, like some appearance-based things. So my character that I play is named Issa, and she is 10. And yes, she is not exactly in the army, but she's around. She is, oops, wrong way around. She's about 4'5", and she's kind of small. Now, if you want to add a serial number, you can do that too. They don't actually come into play at any point in the game, but if that would be more immersive for you to have a serial number, you can definitely go for that. And that is really all that is entailed in step 2. You need to pick a name, come up with a couple things about your appearance. It just gives you a chance to kind of think more about the character beyond the archetype. And how long did it take you to pick your character name, Aaron?
I think my character name was about 30 seconds.
Okay, it always takes me forever.
Mine was, yeah, I just sort of that one wasn't too hard for me.
Okay. Werner. It always
Werner
takes
Reiter.
me forever. All right.
Corporal.
Corporal Werner Reiter.
Cavalry. I have a horse.
You
I've
do?
never used him in any adventure yet.
We've never met your horse.
No, it's actually part of my equipment. I come with a horse.
It's in your equipment. Okay, excellent.
It is in my equipment. So I guess I can always open my backpack and at some point pull out the horse.
All right. So our next step is choosing quirks, obligations, and remarkable abilities. So you're going to see all those over here under persona. So a quirk is a personality trait that can sometimes be a hindrance when you role play it. But
Yes.
once you choose one, you're also allowed to pick a remarkable ability, which should be something that makes things a little easier for your character. So choosing a quirk's a bit of a double-edged sword. So I have decided that for Issa, if she were to have a quirk, it would be stubborn. And you will find a
Mhm.
list of the quirks on page 38, starting on page 38. You can go through and choose one, or there's also the option to roll for a quirk if you aren't sure which one you would like to choose. If you're having trouble thinking up a character, it can be nice to just roll for one. It kind of gives you a baseline to work with. If you know that you're stubborn or reckless or easily distracted, I guess that is a thing you could base the rest of your character upon. Does Werner have a quirk?
No,
Yes, it is
that was the one
optional.
thing. Yeah, I think everybody else did take one. At the time, he was. All characters are meant to be exceptional in
Yep,
their way, but I sort of made him more around with. We have two mystical sort of characters in the group,
we do.
so I actually went more. He understands the war. He's been in the war since day one. He's not shell shocked, but he's war weary. He's seen a lot of things that he's never going to be able to get rid of, and he's probably done some stuff. Well, he has, because we cover some of that in the fourth adventure. There's stuff that will haunt him, but I made him more around the idea of just a traditional soldier.
Okay.
He's more he's a cavalry scout through and through, is what he was. So for him, he's very much fish out of water with all of this the stuff that we've sort of had to do in the adventures. So because of that, I sort of didn't go with a sort of stated quirk and remarkable ability because he's not mediocre, but I wanted him to be. He's your standard soldier, so that was sort of more my thinking. So yeah, I think I'm the only one in the group that doesn't have a quirk and a remarkable ability.
Well, since I have chosen a quirk here, I do also get to choose a remarkable ability, and those are going to start on page 42. And so I have decided to go with Danger
Stubborn.
Sense. What? Which adds +1 on all rolls using Reflex or Instinct, which are some skills. Now, Obligation, you also need to choose, and obligations, you can take one or more. That is up to you. So, obligations are going to determine a character's motivations and allegiances. And at the end of a session, you will be rewarded if you stayed true to your obligations. So, you can take as many as you want, but since you are supposed to role play that, it will become harder for you possibly to
Yeah,
make decisions. If you choose multiple obligations, you may find yourself torn between your obligation to your family and to the law, if, say,
yeah,
your family are
yep,
criminals. Uh, depending. Now, for obligations, too, it is also there's kind of two ends of each obligation you can choose from. Say you choose family, it could be you always side with your family or you want nothing to do with them and try and avoid them at all costs. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are aligned with whatever you choose as your obligation. It could be the opposite, but it is something that's going to guide how you make your decisions. Now,
yes,
for Issa, I chose to go with honor because that one also had kind of a sense of she works with an organization, and that was the closest thing I could come up with to be an obligation tied to that because family didn't really work. So that's the one I have chosen to go with.
yes.
And you're going to find the obligations on page 40. So that is the end of step 3. Now, what you're going to want to do next is you get to choose some skills. and you get 7 dice to divide among different skills. You can put multiple dice into a skill if you want to, but during character creation, no skill may go over 2. You
Correct.
can raise things later on if you wish to through character growth, but starting off, nothing can go above a 2. Now, because I'm playing a character that uses continuity flux skills, it is really, really good to get as many dice into those as you possibly can, as early as you can. So I'm going to make all of my continuity flux skills a 2. I can't go over that at the moment, but I would like them to be as high as they can. And as for the other ones, I am going to put 1 into instinct, 1 into investigate. I am going to put 1 into grit. And I am going to put 1 into reflex. And that is all that I can do for the moment. Now, it is definitely something that you can add more to later on. And you can use a skill even if you don't have any dice in that skill. You will just be using your attribute exclusively instead of adding your skill to that. But it's definitely something you can buy more skills later on. You can upgrade your skills later on. This is not the be all and end all of skills. Now, once you have all the dice set into your different skills, you need to calculate your SRP defenses. So SRP stands for surprised, readied, and psyche, and they are going to be different kinds of defenses you can have. You calculate those based on your attributes. So surprised is going to be your perception times 3. So since I've got 3 into perception, my surprised is going to be 9. Ready is going to be your dex times 3. Now, for my dex, I've got 2 dice. I've got 2 dice plus 1. Now, when you're calculating your defenses, you're going to ignore any modifiers that you have on those. So it's just the 2 times 3. So my readied is going to be 6. And then for the psyche, that is going to be your willpower times 3, which gives me another 9. That is going to be how you calculate those defenses. And at this point, you are pretty much nearly done your character. The last thing that you need to decide is actually how your character is connected to the other characters in the party. So this is something you'll obviously need to get the other players' input as well as probably the GM's input on. Not something you can just decide, although if you're creating your character before talking about this with other players in your group, you could definitely come up with some ideas, but it is something you will sort of need to collaboratively do. So for example, in our group, we have kind of a split down the middle. 2 know each other from one area, 2 know each other from another area, and they just keep getting told to work together, so now they know each other through that. But my adept character and the aspiring occultist are both connected through continuity flux reasons. Then we have got a soldier and a military doctor who know each other, and then basically they got shoved together when the 2 military personnel were told they needed to work with members of the Order, that is the group my character belongs to. Any tips for establishing character connections, Aaron?
It doesn't have to be mirrored. So my character's connection is from events in his past. He feels protective of Issa, even though that doesn't necessarily have to be mirrored either way. So your obligations don't have to be that sort of a mirrored effect, you know. And the obligation I have to the doctor is I've known him a while, so there's a friendship one there. Xander's is difficult.
Our aspiring occultist, yep.
I want to keep shooting him.
Well, Issa doesn't want to be working with him either at this point, but she's just being told she has to, so.
but yeah, I think
Sorry,
that the
Xander.
big thing is don't trap yourself thinking that the obligation has to be the connection that has to be mirrored. It
Yeah.
doesn't. It could be there could be a connection from that character to this character, but the connection in the opposite direction can be totally different. The reason you're a party does not have to be the connection. So I think just using creativity and imagination comes up with
Yeah.
the best stuff there.
And there you have it. You have got a character. And again, keep in mind things can change as you play. Your obligations can change if you find that your character no longer feels the ties they felt before. I'd say you can talk to your GM about that.
Yep.
Certain things you can't necessarily change. I can't decide halfway through our campaign I want a different archetype and I now want to be a cavalry scout because I'd like to have a horse in my inventory. But skills you can definitely add to. You can gain more skills. You can add equipment. You can buy that. You can do all kinds of things to have your character grow, both in terms of story and your skills. So, yeah, this is your start, but it's not the end.
Yeah, the game's very much complex set of gears that works together, but because of that, there's a lot of depth. So the character from a sheet point of view really is just numbers. They translate very well into the game, but they really are just numbers. But the game itself really has human depth and scope to take your character in some really interesting directions. So yeah, don't limit your thinking to just looking at the number on the sheet and going, oh, it's this. Or I think compared to some other games, this one really stands out. Which is the D6 system, really in general. Star Wars was the same. I think that's a big thing. The character creation process, the rules, that they're pretty straightforward, but a lot can happen, and it's not limiting. The wild dice add so much variance to it.
Very true. All right. Well, thank you for watching, and we hope that you have learned a lot about creating a Carbon Gray character and that you will enjoy playing Carbon Gray because we do.
Yeah, and there's more coming.
Oh, yeah. We're looking forward to it.
So, and check out our channel for more Carbon Gray content.
Absolutely. Or if you're interested more in different character creation stuff, let us know what game you'd like to see a character creation video for.
Absolutely. Comments down below.
Yes, they are.